Hi guys, this time I would like to show you how to install another Linux distribution, Ubuntu, desktop as well, uh, because in the previous video we installed Fedora workstation, which is a desktop. Again, the desktop has the advantage of having a graphical user interface, so we can visualize and see how both the graphical user interface and the command line interface operate. So the first step, of course, is to be able to go to um, the download first, the Ubuntu, and this is the Ubuntu. You can find it under ubuntu.com. It's from a company called Canonical. It's a South African company, and the product name is Ubuntu, which is very popular in the world as well as in the United States. Of course, in the United States, is the most popular one is Red Hat Enterprise, which is also the provider of Fedora. And in the United States, also Ubuntu is also available, and it is there. Now, this is the one that we need to download. So once you access this website, you go to Ubuntu desktop, not the server or IoT or others. Now the current release is 20.04. When you click on that, and now LTS, it stands for long time, basically support, and it's basically it's going to uh, basically the version itself is going to be very stable or stable for many years, maybe 2 or 3 years, and that's why this is the LTS. This is the meaning of LTS. So basically, this is the version that you will download, and it's a bigger operating system. It's 2.6 gigabyte. Okay, so and of course you save it, and I already have done the download before, and this is my Ubuntu. Actually, it's already downloaded. Okay, so I don't need to do it again, but usually it takes about 5 to 10 minutes based on the speed of your system. So now my Ubuntu is downloaded. So the next step, well, now what I mean by downloaded also is the ISO images downloaded. Basically, I have the DVD. I can attach it to my DVD drive. Okay, and in this case, of course, we are using Oracle VirtualBox. So this is Oracle VirtualBox. We already have an implementation of Linux Fedora. This time we need to create a different virtual machine. So I'll go to machine. I will say new, and this time I'm gonna call it VM2 underscore Linux underscore. It's not Fedora, it's Ubuntu. So it's Ubuntu, and again it's going to be created as a folder under VirtualBox space VMs, and it's Linux because the word Linux. It's, of course, it's not Windows, it's Linux. Now it's a 64-bit edition, of course, because we are installing the 64-bit edition, not the 32-bit edition. And I'm gonna select next. Now again, for memory purpose, I would like to double it 2048, just in case, because so I could have a high performance operating system. This is the memory allocation, and for the storage, it says the minimum requirement is 10. Actually, I would like to make it 25 gig as I did before. So I'm gonna create a virtual disk image. Remember, we had the one for the Fedora, so we have to create a new one. It's a VDI and dynamically allocated. Now here I will change it to 25 gigabyte. All right, and it's gonna be created under the virtual machines, under it's called VM2 underscore Linux, and I will have the VDI there. create. This is it. This is the disk top that I have created, the box. Okay, it's empty, there's no operating system, so it's a machine with these characteristics. All right, now I need to boot the machine. Double click to boot the machine, and then I need to attach the DVD, the ISO image. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. Now this is, I need this of course attached to something else which I have done before, which is Linux Kali. Now I want to go to the yellow folder, and I need to add, it will take me to the ISO. These are all the ISO images that I have downloaded before. I want to go to the Ubuntu, and the current release is 20.04. So this is the Ubuntu that I want to use, and I'm going to choose that. Now here, remember, just make sure that the attachment here is Ubuntu 20.04 desktop AMD, so it's both AMD as well as Intel 64-bit. It's an ISO, it's 2.53 gig. So I'm going to start. Now again, it's a small window, so you have to go to view, scaled mode, and switch to the scaled mode, so it will be bigger. Now this is different, by the way, than Fedora. Fedora takes us to a release that, or a live edition, and from the live edition we created the full installation. Now this is actually, it's starting from scratch, so you have to perform the installation from the beginning, so there is no live edition. Now it went through some kind of checking process here to check the disk. Again, the disk that I have is 25 gigabytes, so it is performing like what we call a file system check. Okay, so this is actually how Ubuntu operates, so by checking automatically. So you can break it, you can Control C to cancel all the file system check. I mean, this is you could, I mean, it's better to leave it, even though if you do the Control C, it's not going to harm it because it's empty anyway. So again, now we are demonstrating the process of installing Ubuntu workstation or desktop. Okay, and this supports both graphical user interface and terminal based. Checking of the file system is completed. Notice that VM2's Linux Ubuntu is running. VM1 Linux Fedora is turned off or shut down, it's powered off. Now you can have both of them running at the same time as long as you have enough memory space. Now this is the booting process of Ubuntu. Remember, Ubuntu is not installed yet in this virtual machine or the box. Again, it takes time to synchronize, takes time to check, takes time to boot the bootloader into the memory and the initialization files. Alright, so now Ubuntu is popular with the purple look. And now, as you can see, this is the Ubuntu. Alright, so we are performing the full installation. As you can see, this is the full installation. You have the choice as well of trying Ubuntu just similar to the Fedora, and of course, you know, we can do that as well, but this time we will go directly to the install Ubuntu. So I'm going to, of course, in the English language, I'm gonna install Ubuntu. So I'm gonna go and install Ubuntu. Now again, similar to Fedora, English US and the keyboard English. This is the English is the keyboard layout, as well as English US that we want to do. Continue. Then I'm sure it's gonna take us to the storage. Now it says here, what apps would you like to install to start with? Normal installation or minimal installation? Now, of course, I like to have the normal installation because I want to have the web browser utilities and also some additional tools that we could use later, and also download updates while installing Ubuntu. It's very important also to perform an update to the version. It's not just installation, it's a live installation with additional updates. So this will save time. Remember, for Fedora we did not really install any updates, so I will come back to more additional command how to maintain the server or the Linux installation, whether it's in this case our the desktop edition. So I'm gonna accept the default here, select continue. Now, of course, I did not select the install third-party software. I have no intention at this moment. Now, of course, remember that if we are installing into a new hard disk drive, so that's why it says erase disk and install Ubuntu. Of course, if you are choosing the same hard disk drive that has data, you could erase it. Okay, so it says a warning. This will delete all programs, and we have no problem because it's a newly fresh made hard disk drive of 25 gigabyte. So I'm gonna select that one and install now. Okay, so now by default it will create an SDA, which is system disk A, because I need the whole thing to be done in one partition. That's what it is. So the partition table is one partition, and it's broken into different pieces. The following partitions are going to be formatted. So we have partition number 1, that is SCSI 3 and SDA, and also partition number 5, which is going to be SDA as extended 4 file system. So basically, I don't have to do anything here. Later on, when I have a video, I will be discussing the disk and the partition and how to access the partition table, how to modify it, and how to add partitions, how to remove partitions, and so on. But so far, we want the whole thing to be under one partition. It's SDA. Continue. Time zone is New York. Now, similar to that one, so you have to provide your name, full name, and the username. So you can pick up the username. I like to pick up the same things. So it's the first letter of my first name and last name, and I choose the password. Again, choose a simple password. No capital letter, no small letters. Password. The reason why you do that, it's a weak password for sure, because this is an pilot implementation, to training implementation, so you don't want to forget, especially when you have like multiple machine. In this basically, we could be installing additional machine, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and having different passwords will make it hard for us to keep up. Require password to log in, of course. Keep that one. Continue. It's now the process of copying file. I don't know how long it's gonna take. Maybe it will take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes. We'll see. It all depends on the, again, it depends on the network. Remember, for the installation to happen, you have to have really connection to the internet. Okay, and this is here the network in this portion here. It's means that we are connected to the internet because we are initially our network was made as NAT, network address translation, which is using the internet capability of the host machine. All right, so if you don't have an internet, then it's not going to work because you need to download the files. Copying files is going to be coming from the internet. So if this is a standalone machine not connected to the internet, do not expect the installation to be completed. The only option is that you have to have the full download of the entire operating system from the repository. So it's copying now files. Now, of course, here you can go left and right to read more about Ubuntu. Okay, and the features. All these are different features. Okay, so and the default web browser is Firefox as well. And this is we decided to install the Office, but it's LibreOffice. Actually, it's an open source Office. Comes with like similar to Word, we call it Writer. There's also similar to Excel. It's called Calc, and also the PowerPoint, which is Impress. So it says almost finished copying. So obviously the time that takes for Ubuntu is less than the time that it took us for copying the files in Fedora. I mean, this could be due to so many different reasons because we download from certain servers. There are certain repository servers available in the Northeast, and that's the reason. Could be the repository that we are using for Ubuntu is closer to the internet service provider or the ISP. But remember, it's still retrieving files 88 of 23, which is still pretty fast. Alright, so it keeps retrieving a collection. As you can see, this is still a long bar. Okay, so it takes a collection of different files that are with dependencies together and install them. Again, so this one I still am not sure how long it's gonna take, but it looks like it's moving pretty faster than the Fedora installation. Installing the language pack, and it's moving well. Now, one thing I would like to mention is that Fedora came before much before than the Ubuntu. So the Fedora is from Red Hat Enterprise, which I think was established in 1994. But Canonical came like maybe after a few years from that, like I don't know, few 4, 5 or 6 years even. So now it's adding the advanced applications or the additional applications, which is the Office, in this case called Libre Office, and so it's adding additional files, it's unpacking and installing. So actually configuring hardware. So we are almost toward the end of the this process. Now it's moving fast. It's completing, removing all the temporary files that happens during the installation. Remember, one of the difference in terms of the installation between Fedora and Ubuntu is that the user was created after the installation was over in Fedora, but here the user is created before it is installed. So we're getting there. So just hang on, and we are almost reaching the end of the bar, installation bar. Okay, so now the installation is complete, and it says here you need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. Now, as I mentioned before, um, I need to make sure that to remove the attachment. Okay, so I'm gonna test it again. So it says here restart, so I'm gonna click on the restart button here, and remember that if the attachment, uh, if the ISO image is still attached, it means that it's gonna go through the installation again. So that's why I'm gonna test it first. It says here remove the installation media and then press enter. So we have to remove the installation media. So to remove the installation media, so okay, so I can go to the storage right here, and it's actually it's I don't see it here. It looks like it's removed. Okay, so that's why actually it's already removed. So this operating system, uh, Ubuntu, it looks like it removed it. So I can, in this case, I can hit just enter, and let me see what's going on. Hmm. Looks like these are errors. Okay, so I don't know what happened. It looks like there are some errors here, so I'm going to stop it. Okay, I'm sure that the installation is we went through the installation is correct, so I'm gonna just stop it. I'm gonna this time I'm gonna power off the machine. Okay, so I powered off the machine, and let me just make sure this, so that again, as you can see here from the storage, there's no disk attached to the drive, so there is no ISO image. So let me double click on the Ubuntu and see what's gonna happen. Again, I'm switching to the scaled mode. Close this window. Alright, so far Ubuntu is loading. Now this is the full installation of Ubuntu workstation, or we call it Ubuntu desktop version 20 point, I think 4 or 04. .04. Okay, so it's long time support, or extended time support. So this is the Ubuntu again. So it's loading. So far it looks good, because it is booting, means that it's the boot file are being loaded into the memory, and the loader is there, and it's adding, so it's perfectly done. And this is what I was looking for, the installation with your name, or the name, and then all what you need to do is to go and click on the taskbar of the host and do the print screen, and you go to the Word document and Control V. So this is the image. Now maybe I will use a better image. So expand the window, then here click on the taskbar, print screen, and then I go to the Word, Control V. So now I have two images. Okay, so this image is for Fedora, and this image, so you can just write a quick description and upload this image into the designated area. So we have performed the installation of Ubuntu, and let me just double check now if I can log in. Okay, so we have the desktop behind me. Okay, so I'm gonna log in with password. It looks like, to me, it looks like Ubuntu is faster than Fedora, but again, I can't judge unless I do some kind of performance metrics and speed. But yes, it's loading, because loading my profile for the first time. and this is skip the online accounts and skip this one. So live. I don't need. You can do that. It's in privacy. Okay, so it's the same, something similar to the to the Fedora. So it's done. Okay. Now this is the graphical user interface. It's very similar to the graphical user interface of Fedora. This is when you click. Of course, you know there is the Firefox, which is the browser. There is they have the mail, which is they're using Thunderbird mail. It's just like Microsoft Outlook. This is like an open source mail interface. This is files. This is rhythm box similar to Fedora, and this is the Office. Okay, again in Fedora we did not install the Office, but you know we could have installed it. And it says here you can do an update, but I don't want to install the update because I'm going to show you that later on. And these are the application, of course. You know, this is my home directory. Now when you go to activity, you type terminal. It's the same thing. Go to the terminal window, and notice this is my username at iDarish-VirtualBox. So the name of the machine is called VirtualBox, iDarish-VirtualBox. Now if I type who am I, it will tell you that I'm iDarish. There's a new command I will teach you today. It's called hostname. It's iDarish-VirtualBox, and again pwd, which is present or print working directory. It's my home directory, and ls is for the listing of the file. And of course, you know, you can do init 0, which will shut down the machine, not restart. It will shut down the machine completely. Hit enter, it will shut down. As you can see, in this case I am finishing this tutorial of Fedora. I'm sorry, the Ubuntu. Before that I finished the Fedora. Have a good day. Thank you.